What if the reason nothing is changing in your life is not because you're doing it wrong, but because you're doing it too much? Welcome to Law of Assumption, where we explore how your inner beliefs shape your outer reality and how shifting your state of mind can completely transform your life experience. Today's topic goes deep into how manifestation really works, not through effort or chasing, but through assumption, identity, and the quiet feeling that it is already done. Stop trying to manifest, because that exact effort is often what keeps it from showing up. Every time you try, there's a quiet message running underneath in your mind. I don't have this yet. And your inner world always reacts to that signal. It doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to what you're currently assuming is true. Now think about something deeper. What if the real shift isn't about chasing your desire at all, but about remembering it, not hoping for it, not visualizing it as something far away, but recalling it like it already took place, like it's part of your past? That might sound strange at first, but this is where everything changes, because your subconscious mind doesn't clearly separate a real memory from something you've experienced vividly in your imagination. If it feels real enough, it starts treating it as real. So instead of pushing, forcing, repeating affirmations, or constantly visualizing, you step into something much stronger: certainty. Most people don't realize this, but the moment you say, "I'm trying to manifest," you've already shifted into the wrong mental state. Trying carries a hidden meaning. It quietly confirms that the thing is not here yet. And your subconscious doesn't work with effort or desire, it works with identity and belief. So when you keep trying harder, visualizing more intensely, or forcing positive thoughts, you're actually reinforcing the idea that your desire is still somewhere in the future, not here, not now. And that's the loop that keeps people stuck. Look at it like this. Have you noticed how the things you chase the hardest always seem to stay just out of reach? Whether it's money, love, success, or opportunities, the more desperate the grip, the more it seems to slip away. That's not coincidence. That's how the mind works. Chasing creates pressure. Pressure creates resistance. It's like trying to fall asleep by forcing it. The more you try to sleep, the more awake you become. Manifestation works in the same way. The more effort you put into making it happen, the more you reinforce the idea that it hasn't happened yet. And your subconscious locks that assumption in as your current reality. Here's the deeper truth most people miss. The subconscious mind doesn't understand effort. It doesn't respond to how hard you're working, it responds to identity. It only cares about one thing: is this already true for you or not? So when your internal state is filled with urgency, effort, and trying, your answer is always the same: not yet. And that's exactly why people repeat the same cycles for years. Not because manifestation is broken, but because they're unknowingly living in the state of lack while trying to escape it. Now imagine a different approach. What if you completely stopped trying? What if instead of chasing your desire, you simply settled into the feeling that it's already normal for you? No pressure, no forcing, no checking in every 5 minutes to see if it arrived, just a quiet sense of course it's mine. Because think about it, things that are already part of your life don't require effort to believe. You don't wake up every day trying to convince yourself you own a phone. You don't repeat affirmations to prove you exist. You just know. That's the state your mind naturally accepts as real. And that's the exact state manifestation responds to. When you release the trying energy, something shifts internally. Your body relaxes, your thoughts slow down. The urgency fades, the need disappears, and in that space, your subconscious receives a completely different message. This is already part of me. That's when change starts to happen, not because you forced it, but because you stopped resisting it. So the real question is not, how do I manifest faster? The real question becomes, can I stop trying long enough to feel like it's already done? Because the moment you do that, you're no longer someone chasing a desire. You naturally step into the identity of someone who already has it. And that changes everything. Now here's where another major shift happens. Most people are taught to visualize their desires. But for many, visualization feels like imagination in a forced way. It feels like pretending, something uncertain, something distant, something that might happen someday. And that small feeling of doubt slows everything down. Because your mind knows the difference between something that feels real and something that feels like wishful thinking. Think about memory for a moment. When you remember something from your past, do you sit there questioning if it happened? No. There's instant certainty, no effort, no doubt. You just recall it, and it feels real automatically. That's the power of memory. It doesn't require belief, it doesn't require repetition. It just is. And here's the shift most people never make. Your subconscious responds more strongly to what feels real than what is physically real. So when you imagine something as a future event, you keep it in the future. But when you remember it as something that already happened, you bring it into the present state of identity. That creates a completely different internal signal. Let's simplify it. If you try to imagine winning something, your mind might create a picture, but there's often hesitation in the background, a quiet awareness saying, this isn't real yet. But if you close your eyes and remember it like it already happened, your entire experience changes. Your body relaxes, your breathing slows, there's a sense of calm certainty like it's already settled. That difference is everything. Because emotion is the language your subconscious understands, not logic. This is also why some people seem to manifest without struggle. They naturally carry the feeling that things are already theirs. They don't overthink visualization. They simply live in the assumption that it's done. Now here's something even more powerful. The mind can blur the line between real memories and strongly imagined experiences. If something is felt deeply and repeatedly, it starts to feel familiar. And familiarity is what the subconscious accepts as truth. That means you don't need physical proof first, you need internal certainty first. So instead of thinking, I am imagining my future, you shift into, I am remembering something that already happened. That small change in perspective is huge. One creates distance, the other creates identity, and identity is what shapes reality. Here's how you actually apply it in a simple way. Don't build long, complicated mental movies. Don't try to force intense emotion. Keep it simple. One short moment is enough. It could be a message you received, a conversation where someone congratulates you, a quiet moment where you feel relief because everything worked out. Just one small scene. Then replay it softly in your mind like it's a memory, not something you're inventing, but something you're recalling. No pressure, no forcing it to feel perfect. Real memories aren't perfect anyway. They're natural, a little blurry and effortless. The key is familiarity, not intensity. And as you repeat this gently, something subtle begins to happen. The mind starts accepting it as normal, not fake, not forced, just familiar. And once it becomes familiar, the subconscious accepts it as part of your identity. When that happens, your external world begins to adjust around it, not because you pushed it, but because your internal state no longer contradicts it. So instead of imagining something far away, you begin remembering it as already yours. Because the moment your mind accepts it as part of your past, your reality starts organizing itself to reflect it in your present. Let's go even deeper, because this is where most people completely miss how this actually works. You can say all the right affirmations, you can repeat them endlessly, you can visualize the perfect scene down to every detail, but if the feeling isn't aligned, nothing really shifts. Why? Because your subconscious mind doesn't speak in language, it doesn't understand sentences, it doesn't process words the way you do. It responds to emotion. Emotion is the real signal, it's the message underneath everything else. You can say, I am successful 100 times, but if inside there's doubt, pressure, or a feeling of lack, that emotional state is what your mind accepts as truth every single time. Because emotion is raw, it's unfiltered, it doesn't lie, and your outer reality always reflects that inner emotional state far more than your words ever could. Now here's where things start to shift. When you begin to remember your desire as something already complete, you stop needing to manufacture emotions. They start to arise on their own. And interestingly, they aren't loud or dramatic. They're quiet, subtle, grounded. Let's make it clear. What does it actually feel like when something is already yours? There's no desperation, no urgency, no mental chasing, no need to prove anything to yourself. Instead, there's a calmness, a soft relief, a grounded confidence, a sense of this is settled. That feeling is the real language your subconscious understands. And here's where most people get it wrong. They think manifestation requires extreme emotion, big excitement, overwhelming joy, intense reactions. But that's not how reality is actually built internally. Extreme emotions usually come from surprise, from something unexpected. But when something is already done, there's no shock, no reaction, just acceptance, just knowing. And that quiet knowing is far more powerful than excitement because it's stable. And stability is what programs the subconscious mind. Think about something simple. When you hold something that's been yours for years, do you feel excited every time you see it? No, it feels normal, familiar, settled. And that normal feeling is exactly what keeps it anchored in your reality. So instead of chasing emotional highs, shift into emotional normality, subtle relief, inner peace, quiet satisfaction. That's the frequency of it's already done. And when you touch that state, even briefly, you're sending one clear message inward. This is already my life. Now here's an important truth. You don't need to hold that feeling all day. You don't need to force it for hours. Even a few seconds of real, natural inner certainty carries more power than hours of forced positivity. Because forced emotion creates inner resistance, but natural emotion creates alignment. So instead of trying to intensify your feelings, slow down, close your eyes. Bring up a simple remembered moment of your desire already fulfilled, not as imagination, but as memory. And then just notice what arises. Not force it, not chase it, just observe. What does it feel like to know it's already done? That feeling, if even slightly present, is enough. Because the moment it becomes familiar, your subconscious accepts it. And once it's accepted internally, your outer world has no choice but to begin reflecting it. So remember this clearly. Words don't shape reality. Emotion does. And the right emotion isn't loud or dramatic. It's calm, steady, certain. That is the real language of creation. Now here's another reason manifestation feels slow for most people. It's the question of when. When will it happen? When is it coming? That question seems harmless, but internally it does something very specific. It places your desire into the future. And the moment you place it in the future, your mind automatically confirms one thing. It's not here yet. And that becomes your operating state. Then every time you check, every time you wait, every time you look for signs, you reinforce the same loop again and again. Still not here, still not here, still not here. That's why it feels delayed. Not because reality is slow, but because your attention is locked in waiting. So the real shift is this: remove time completely. Not patience, not waiting longer, not hoping with distance, but full removal of the idea that something is coming. Because think about memory. When you remember something from your past, do you ask when it will happen? No, because it already did. There's no waiting inside memory, no timeline attached to it. And that's the exact mental position you want to step into. When you recall your desire is already completed, time disappears. There is no future version of it anymore. There is only a completed experience. And that changes everything inside you. Pressure drops, urgency dissolves, the need to check fades because there is nothing left to wait for. You've already mentally placed it in completion. And here's the deeper mechanism. Time pressure creates resistance. The more you rush something mentally, the more your attention locks onto its absence. And whatever you focus on repeatedly becomes your dominant experience. So when you stop focusing on when, you stop feeding lack. You exit waiting energy completely. It's similar to ordering something online. Once the order is confirmed, you don't sit there refreshing the screen every second if you trust it. You relax and move on. Because internally, you've accepted it's handled. Now take that even further. What if, instead of "it's on the way," your mind simply registers it as already delivered? That is a completely different state. No waiting, no checking, no tension, just completion. That is the internal posture of manifestation working in your favor. And here's the key. Dropping time doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop measuring, you stop monitoring, you stop repeatedly asking whether it's arrived yet. Because that question alone keeps you anchored in lack. Instead, you hold a quiet inner certainty that doesn't require external proof every moment. And something interesting happens when you stay there consistently. The moment time disappears internally, resistance weakens. And when resistance weakens, external alignment feels faster. Not because reality sped up, but because you stopped slowing it down with doubt. So whenever the mind asks when will it happen, don't engage with it. Simply shift into "it already did." Feel the difference. One creates waiting, the other creates completion, and reality only responds to the state you occupy, not the timeline you think in. Now here's where this becomes real in everyday life. People here live like it's already done and immediately misunderstand it. They start forcing behavior, acting differently on the outside, trying to convince themselves, pretending. But that's still effort, and effort pulls you back into lack. Living from it is not acting, it's being. It's internal, not performative. If something truly happened already, how would you feel? You wouldn't be obsessed with it. You wouldn't keep checking. You wouldn't need constant reassurance. You would just be normal about it. That's the state. Not excitement, not overconfidence, not performance, just calm certainty. And here's the important part. When that inner state changes, your behavior naturally shifts without effort. You start speaking differently, choosing differently, responding differently, not because you're trying to, but because your identity has already shifted. And identity is the real foundation of everything. You don't get what you chase. You get what feels normal for you to be. So if something feels already natural internally, your external actions begin to align with it automatically. For example, someone who feels secure doesn't chase validation. Someone who feels stable doesn't panic over small setbacks. Someone who feels loved doesn't beg for attention. It's never about forcing behavior. It's about becoming the version of you for whom this is already normal. And when it becomes normal internally, it stops feeling like something to achieve. It just feels like reality. So, throughout your day, don't ask, how do I act like I have it? Instead, ask, if this was already true, how would I feel right now? Then return to that feeling, not as performance, as state. And over time, something subtle but powerful happens. You stop reacting from lack, you stop overthinking outcomes, you stop chasing reassurance because internally you already feel complete. And when you feel complete, you stop looking for completion outside of you. That's when things begin to move towards you naturally, not through force, not through effort, but through alignment. So remember this, you don't need to act like it's done. You need to feel like it's done, quietly, naturally, effortlessly. Because the moment it feels normal inside you, it starts becoming normal outside you. You were never meant to chase your desires. You were meant to remember them. And the moment you feel like it already happened, something inside you settles. And when you're settled, everything else starts moving on its own. No forcing, no waiting, just knowing. The core idea behind this topic is that your inner state shapes what you experience externally. Instead of treating manifestation like something you do through effort, repetition, or constant control, it reframes everything around identity and assumption. When you are constantly trying to manifest something, your mind stays focused on absence. That focus keeps reinforcing the feeling that it is not here yet. And the subconscious mind doesn't argue with you, it simply accepts the dominant feeling you keep repeating internally. The shift happens when you stop approaching your desire as something in the future and start relating to it as something already true within you. This doesn't mean pretending or forcing belief. It means gently settling into a state where the outcome feels familiar, like it already belongs to your life. In that state, there is less emotional chasing. You are not mentally running after results or checking for signs. Instead, there is a quiet sense of completion, even before anything changes physically. That inner calm is important because it removes resistance. And when resistance drops, your thoughts, behaviors, and perceptions naturally begin to align differently without force. A big part of this process is emotional awareness. It's not the words you repeat that shape your experience, but the emotional frequency behind them. If your emotions are rooted in doubt, urgency, or lack, those feelings become your baseline reality. But when your emotional state shifts into calm certainty, your inner world starts to reorganize around that assumption. This is why remembering is used as a concept here. Memory carries certainty. You don't question your memories the same way you question future possibilities. So when you mentally step into the feeling of something already done, your mind treats it with more stability. It feels less like imagination and more like inner truth. Over time, this repeated inner state changes how you see yourself. You stop acting from the mindset of, I am trying to get, and slowly begin operating from, this is already mine. That identity shift is what influences decisions, reactions, and even the opportunities you notice in everyday life. Nothing external is being forced. The change starts inside, in how you consistently assume, feel, and relate to your desire. And the more natural that assumption becomes, the less effort you feel you need to apply, because internally, it no longer feels like something missing. So let's bring everything together. The real shift was never about trying harder, forcing affirmations, or visualizing with more effort. It was never about chasing or waiting or wondering when things will finally show up. The entire message comes down to one simple realization. Your subconscious doesn't respond to effort, it responds to state. And that state is built through emotion, not words. When you stop treating your desire like something far away and start remembering it like something already completed, something subtle but powerful changes inside you. The pressure drops, the urgency disappears, the constant need to make it happen slowly fades. And in that space, a different feeling begins to settle in, a quiet certainty, a natural sense of, this is already mine, not loud, not forced, just stable and calm. That's the point most people miss. It was never about intense emotions or perfect visualizations. It was about identity, about becoming the version of you for whom this is already normal. Because when something is truly part of your inner identity, you don't chase it, you don't question it, you don't wait for it, you simply live from it. And from that state, your actions change without effort. Your mindset shifts without struggle. Your reactions become different without you trying to control them. And slowly your outer world begins to reflect what you've already accepted within. So the conclusion is simple. Stop trying to pull your desires toward you. Stop measuring time. Stop looking for signs. And stop reinforcing the idea that it's still not here. Instead, return inward. Recall it like a memory. Feel it like it's already settled. and allow your mind to rest in the knowing that it is done. Because the moment you stop chasing and start remembering, you stop creating resistance. And when resistance is gone, reality no longer has anything to push against. It simply begins to align. If this message resonated with you, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Law of Assumption, and turn on the bell icon so you never miss a shift in perspective. And before you leave, comment the word already if you truly felt this shift today and you're choosing to step into the state where it's already done.